72, 76, the Canada Cup. I believe 19 out of the 21 players are in the Hockey Hall of Fame. And then, of course, 1987. Those are the three teams that really stand out when you have this debate. In your mind, what was the greatest?
As soon as you started going into this question, Shawn, in my head, I was thinking 1976. It has to be 1976. That was a team that, even though Bobby Hull was playing in the WHA, they allowed him to play for Canada in the 76 Canada Cup. Bobby Orr played on that team, and he played magnificently. Dennis Potvin played on that team. He was amazing. So many of the Canadian players that played on that team, as you said, a whole bunch of them are in the Hall of Fame now. It's not a mistake. It's not an accident. That 76 team for me in the Canada Cup was the best Canadian hockey team that I've ever seen.
Well, I'm going 87 just because I remember 87. Again, 76, I would have been 7 years old. I have watched the games since then. I have heard all the stories from Dennis Potvin about that 76 team. Bobby Orr may have had one of the greatest individual performances in hockey history, playing on one leg, essentially, because of his damaged knee. Bobby Clark talking about just how amazed he was to see Bobby Orr perform the way he did. Rogie Vachon was brilliant in goal for Canada in 76. That's a whole other show, talking about that team, because it was special. It really was. The collection of talent. And, of course, the hero was Daryl Sittler scoring the overtime winner as Canada beat Czechoslovakia in an upset. They were the surprise opponent in the final of the 1976 Canada Cup. But we will definitely be talking about that team down the road, because just the collection of talent was incredible.
76, Daryl Sittler got word on the bench from Don Cherry that if you come down the wing and fake a shot, Vladimir Zarilla, the goalie for the Czechoslovakian team, not Yuri Holacek, who was the star goalie at that time, Zarilla will bite on that fake shot and come out and challenge. You zip around him, put it in the open net. That's exactly what Sittler did in that game. My uncle at that time in 76 was a columnist for the Ottawa Citizen. There was a game in the round robin, Czechoslovakia, Canada. Czechs beat Canada 1-0. My uncle said at the time, that's the greatest hockey game I've ever seen, and the greatest hockey game that's ever been played in Canadian soil. Milan Novi scored the winning goal for the Czechs in that game, 1976. One other memory I have of that 76 Canada Cup, I was 16 years old at the time. I was working at the Dominion grocery store at St. Laurent Shopping Center, making $2.15 an hour, I think. I saved up all my money and bought a ticket for the very first game in the Canada Cup. It was played in Ottawa at the Civic Center, Canada versus Finland. Canada won that game in a romp. I think it was 11-3. Rogie Vachon was the goalie. $15 for the ticket for that game. $15. That's almost 8 hours of work to buy that ticket. You know, you think about that today, what would 8 hours of work cost you, or how much would that ticket cost for 8 hours of work today in 2020? That was, but I was there at the 1976 Canada Cup game in Ottawa. I'm thrilled about it, and that is my story.